do you have to identify yourself to a policeman? You ever thought about that? The police always want you to identify yourself. You know, you've been stopped by the policeman. He comes up to the window and says, "Let me see your driver's license." Do you have to give him your driver's license? Well, if you have one, you have to give it to him. If you don't have one, then you can't give it to him. Can you? Or have you ever had a policeman demand that you identify yourself? That happens once in a while. The guy's walking down the street, or maybe he's just sleeping in a doorway. And somebody calls the cops and says, "Hey, this guy's sleeping in the doorway. Get him out of here." And so the cops come over and they stand him up. And one of the first things they'll do, "What's your name?" Do you have to tell this guy your name? I mean, mull that one over for a second. Do I have some duty or obligation to identify myself to the policeman? I suppose for the sake, I remember one time I had a policeman stop me, and he asked me for my driver's license, and I didn't say anything. And he said, "Did you hear me?" And I didn't say anything. I didn't shake my head. I didn't say anything. And then he said, have you been drinking? And I didn't say anything. And he said, "Can you hear me?" And I didn't say anything. He said, "Are you deaf?" I didn't say anything. And then he said, "You're under arrest." And then I didn't say anything. And then he said, "Turn around." So I turned around, and he took my hands and he handcuffed me, and I didn't say anything. And so he said, "Get in the back of the car." And I got in the back of the car, and he said, "You're not deaf." And I didn't say anything. And then he closed the door, and he searched me. And before he put me inside the car, he searched me. And he didn't find anything. I didn't have anything on me. And he said, "Where's your wallet?" And I didn't say anything. And he said, "What's your name?" And I didn't say anything. And he was asking me all these questions, and he's talking to me. I never said a word. I didn't argue with him. I didn't threaten him. I didn't say yes sir or no sir. I didn't say go to hell, or I didn't say a thing. Zero, zilch, not a word came out of my mouth. Have you ever heard this statement? You have certain rights, and you have a right to remain silent. And if you elect not to remain silent, anything you say can and will be held against you, or used against you in a court of law. It's called the famous Miranda warning. Did you know that? You ever heard that statement? What would happen if you actually followed the law and you didn't say anything? That's a wild new concept, isn't it? The policeman says, "Hey, what's your name?" And you don't answer. You don't say anything. "Can you speak?" You don't say anything. "Are you deaf?" You don't say anything. The policeman says, "You're under arrest." You don't say anything. He searches you. You don't resist. You don't say anything. He asks you, "Where's your wallet?" You don't say anything. Aren't you practicing Miranda? Have any of you people out there ever thought about actually practicing the law yourselves? I know it's a wild new idea, but the policeman says, "You're under arrest, and you have a right to remain silent. And if you elect to speak, anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law." Now the guy starts off and says, "What's your name, address, and phone number?" And people follow them. My name is George Gordon, and I live at 2204 Jones Road, and I killed my wife, and the gun's under the patio. I mean, you people just can't wait to talk, confess, give him all the information that he needs. I'm not quite sure why you do that, but you certainly do. Now, the policeman's been up front. He said, if you elect to remain silent, I have to remind you, you have a right to remain silent. And if you elect to waive that right and speak to me, anything you say to me, I'm going to use against you and do everything in my power to put you in prison with your own words. And you people just get out there and can't talk fast enough and can't talk long enough. You know that? and that's after you've been told. See? In fact, the Supreme Court in the Miranda case said, well, most people probably don't know they've got this right to remain silent, and so we're going to require that you tell them that they've got this right. And even after they've been told, they still have to speak. So I had a student one time, his name was Fred, down in Deming, New Mexico. And down in Deming, New Mexico, they had a city ordinance. I don't think this is a state statute. Now, 24 states in the Union have a statute on the books. This is a state law now that says, thou shalt identify thyself to the policeman. Words to that effect. 26 states do not. So it's just about 50-50, about half and half. Now, most people do not see that giving the name, address, and social security number and marital status and all these routine facts have anything to do with the arrest or the policeman, and they think that it's a law, that it's some kind of a duty. The policeman never tells them, you know, after he's given them their Miranda warning, after they've been Mirandaized, the police call it, after we've Mirandaized this guy, and then they start asking him questions, and of course, the average Joe six-pack presumes that the policeman isn't going to ask him any questions that are improper. Hell, the policeman's your enemy. He's your foe. See, most people have been taught that the policeman is your friend, or that when you go to court, you get a fair trial. You know? Oh, okay. You've been to public school again, haven't you, son? No, the policeman is your adversary. Your policeman there, he's gathering evidence. He's trained. He's a paid professional. That's his job, to get the evidence that he needs to convict you and put you in jail. Now, he has to follow certain rules. He knows what the rules are. You don't. You haven't got a clue. And so he starts right off by asking you for your identification. It ever occurred to you that you don't have any corresponding duty to tell him who in the hell you are?